Okay, hope everyone is well. We're back at you. This is 2025, the 3rd of January. And there's a phenomenon going on right now, prophetically speaking. It's a phenomenon. It has to do with stealth prophecy, stealth prophetic fulfillment. More to the point, it seems that concerning the time element, that there's a recapitulation in a downward spiral. So what exactly do we mean by that? Here's what we're talking about. It has to do with a recapitulation. We're only talking about 3.5 years. Now try to get this concept going. A recapitulation in a downward spiral means the cascading effect and or the exhaustion of prophecy. You know, it brings to mind what it says in Revelation 19:10 about the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. The spirit of prophecy. So we're talking about, more specifically, the rollout, the commencement, if you will, of the first 4 seals. Okay, the white, the red, the black, and the pale. We've talked about these seals many, many times before. Here's another key element to consider. When the new administration gets in there, then all bets are off for the old administration. So what the new administration is going to roll out also will have to do with the pushback, the crybaby element, if you will, of the preceding regime. Political regime. There's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some crybabies, and it's going to affect everything else. So then it draws us back into the white, the red, the black, and the pale horses of the apocalypse, the so-called apocalypse, the unveiling, if you will. And we'll state it again, and we will maintain again that the white has to do with toxon. The rider goes forth with the bow, conquering, and the finality or the final effect of to conquer, conquering and to conquer. So there's an ongoing effect to it, and a final fire for effect, like we say in the military. There's a final push at the end to exhaust that particular element or subset of the whole big scene being played out, orchestrated, choreographed. It's like a kabuki dance. And the stealth part comes into, we had this section the other day, the stealth part of the prophecy or the propheticness of what's going on right now has a lot to do with, it's not so much that people realize it's going on, but they'll be overcome by events as each seal picks up more and more momentum until that furthest out cascading effect of recapitulating. Recapitulation is a kind of a fancy word. It means to do over again. It's like it's going down, a swirling effect to it. It's going down, and then on the way down, it keeps swirling and or recapitulating in a downward effect. This is what we call the stealth prophetic effect. The recapitulation of that particular prophecy or subsets of prophecy until they're all finalized, until that final flush, if you will, to put it in those terms. So with the white, we'll kind of recap and touch upon what the seals basically mean so that you can look for them, because they're going through another regurgitation. They haven't gone anywhere. That's the thing about it. That's why there's a stealth effect to it that people don't realize or pick up on. Again, you have the white, the red, the black, and the pale horsemen. The 5th one is silence in heaven for the space. The 5th seal is the souls under the altar crying out, "How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them who dwell upon the earth?" And they were given white robes and told to wait a little while longer until their fellow servants and brethren should be killed as they. The 6th seal is unmistakably the blueprint, the schematic for nuclear war. The 7th seal is silence for the space of half an hour in heaven. That's why we say all the time, 6th seal, the 7th trumpet, and the 7th vial. There's 3 sets of 7. The 6th seal, the 7th trumpet, and the 7th vial all have one commonality. They all end in the wrath of God. Christ comes back. When Christ says he comes back, 1 second time only, right before Armageddon, which is a very metaphoric catch-all phrase for the end-all of end-all battle between good and evil. Right before Armageddon is when Christ comes back. Revelation chapter 16:15. Armageddon is 16:16. But anyway, getting back to the seals, the white is the rider going forward, conquering and to conquer with the bow. So you do in etymology a study on the Greek word toxon, and it means also with poison-tipped arrows. Poison-tipped arrows. We are going to see a pickup, a regurgitation, what did Trump call that? He called the first go-round of we'll spell it backwards, DIVOC. In other words, Charlie Oscar Victor India Delta. What did he call that? But there's going to be that, and it's going to be 2.0, which is going to be a whole lot worse. Okay? You have to think of the similitude, the word picture idea, of taking that bow in a modern parlance pulling that string back after you sucked in the syringe, let the arrow fly. That is the facsimile of what it's going to be for 2.0, as it was a few years ago. It's still there. That modus operandi, that control element, is still there to reduce the world's population. End all result. That second seal is going to be the rider of the red horse, going forth with a sword, taking peace from the earth. We still see that go on. Just because they don't report it on the news, it's just not advantageous for them to do so. There's too many other political irons in the fire. Operation Warp Speed, that's what it was. Yeah, Operation Warp Speed. Remember that? Oh yeah. Just wait till you see the next iteration of that. The next spiral that we talked about before of that. Where do you see that? Now that's the second seal. The third seal is the rider going forth with the balances, rider of the black horse, going forth with the balances, saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. See thou hurt, not the oil and the wine. That is also in the mix. Because they say in another 4 years, we are going to be around, get this, try to understand this figure, 51 trillion. 51 trillion in debt. We can't even pay the interest on the principal. It's impossible. That's why they said, the politicians have said, why put a ceiling or a cap on it when you only know that it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up? That will be, in a very, no pun intended, Armageddon financial sense, implosion of itself. Like Alan Greenspan said many years ago, these are weapons, financial weapons of mass destruction, waiting to go off. Or what about the fourth seal, the pale horse, which etymology means a study on the word pale, or chloros means green, which has a lot of negative connotation to it. Everybody thinks, well, green this or green that is a positive connotation. Not necessarily, because it has death. Its rider is death with a capital D, with hell with a capital H following. And there's a lot of other correlations that we talk about from time to time about the death and the hell. The death and the hell, the death of the person. And then the hell is that continuous loop that they can't get out of. If they didn't have Christ, or if they were on the wrong side of the spiritual coin. And beware, right now, we'll just say this parenthetically as an aside. The religion of the New Age, they call themselves the I Am. It's a regurgitation of the original lie from the Garden of Eden. And these people think that they're being enlightened. There's masses and masses, humongous, massive masses of people that are succumbing to this deceiving nature of these fallen angels that come to them with special gnosis. We're masquerading as an angel of light, promising all these different things, that they can be their own God, or they can come back if they don't get it just right, kind of like the Roman Catholics with their purgatory. So you have all of these false doctrines that are out there, false religions, that ride on top of that beast, as with the mother harlot, that's represented in the latter chapters of Revelation, that we are told, we'll leave you with this thought, that we are told to come out of. Revelation 18:4, come out of her. False religion, false practices, witchcraft, false doctrine, you name it. And be not partakers of her sins, nor receive of her plagues. That is going to be the final de-escalation, or escalation, depending on how you look at it, of prophecy. That will be the last wake-up call. So get yourself in a position to be supernaturally chosen, blessed, and favored as spiritual, born-again Israel. Spiritual, born-again Israel, just like Christ told Nicodemus before he went to the cross. That's the only way to do it. That's the Savior that we need. Put your total trust, hope, faith, confidence in the blood that was shed in accordance with Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 to 27. It was Jesus Christ who fulfilled that prophecy with his own blood. It will not be the Antichrist that the 7-year dispensational pre-trib rapture cultists claim that will confirm that covenant. No, they're behind the times. It was Jesus Christ who already fulfilled that covenant with his own blood. If you say anything else, you 7-year dispensational pre-trib rapture cultists, you're blaspheming the blood of the Lamb and trampling its blood under your own feet. We'll leave you with that thought. If you're remnant, stay remnant. Get this word out there, and let's make a difference. I love you guys. Talk soon.